yourself. You're sitting there on my chair. I'm staring at you. You don't even notice. Should've told you straight away. You don't have to be afraid anymore. I know you haven't noticed. You know, you know.
Hey, this is Sharon. Tonight, I'm cooking chicken fried ribs. My husband told me that he wanted to know if I could fix him some fried ribs. I knew what he meant. He wanted me to fry them up like I would fry up a chicken. I'd never done this before, not on top of the stove. I've done it in the oven, but not on top of the stove. So I decided to just try this time. First thing I needed to do was wash them really good. So I had a brine. I made a brine of about a 1/4 cup of salt and a 1/4 cup of white vinegar. And I want enough cold water, not hot, but cold water to cover the ribs. And this is a cut called rib fingers. And for obvious reasons, it doesn't look like my fingers, but it's cut. The ribs have been separated from the rack. I got 2 packs of these. Normally I don't get them cut up like this because they're normally a lot more costly than the entire rack, but the whole rack was the same price as these. No waste, less work for me. Now this is not all for one meal, of course, but I like to cook for 2, sometimes 3 meals at a time. That saves me from having to cook every single day, so I have at least 2 or 3 days off each week when I don't have to cook an entire meal. I rinse these ribs at least 3 or 4 times until the water ran as clear as I could possibly get it. Then I added the ingredients for my marinade. I added about 1 to 2 cups of Mojo Criollo. Now, I don't know any Spanish, but I'm gonna show you a bottle of it. Then I added about a 1/2 cup of spiced vinegar. This is a spiced vinegar from, I think it's from the Philippines. It is delicious. And that's the Mojo and the spiced vinegar. I've added about a 1/2 cup of the spiced vinegar. If you don't have that, just add some white vinegar. Now, I'm not going to leave it in this container because I would take too much vinegar and Mojo to cover it all. This is a rub I kind of mixed up myself. It has some paprika in it, no salt, but paprika and adobo, Cajun seasoning, and Old Bay, garlic powder, and onion powder, all in equal proportions. This is hot paprika, not just a regular paprika. Although if you don't have the hot, you don't want it real spicy, then just use the regular paprika. I put them in a smaller bowl and then pour the sauce on top, the brine on top. And then I put this in the refrigerator to marinate for 24 hours. If you don't have 24 hours, just do it for at least 6 hours, 4 to 6 hours. But I left mine in there for 24 hours. This is the next day. This is brine for 24 hours. Now comes time to fry up my ribs. And since I had never done this before, I was reluctant to fry them all. So I just did a few at a time. The rest of them I grilled. And Hamp said he liked the fried ones better than the barbecued ones. So I guess this is my go-to from now on. Or do both. That's just Bisquick that I use. And then I added a little cornstarch to it. That makes it nice and crisp. And not just soggy. That's about 3 tablespoons. Oh, wait. And to about a cup of flour. Maybe a little bit more. Mix that together. And I'm glad I always season my ribs, because that way I don't have to worry about over seasoning the flour to make sure that it gets to the ribs. I don't waste any spices or anything. The flour is not seasoned at all. And again, I didn't add any salt to this because there's salt in the Cajun seasoning and salt in the Old Bay. And I normally would do this step right here in a Ziploc bag, but I was all out of gallon Ziploc bags, so I had to do it in the dish. My grandmother, of course, would have done it in a brown paper bag. Now I love those tweezers because when I pick up the ribs, the other tongs I have, these are tongs by the way, they hold too much juice. So with these, there's an opening right at the end of it so it doesn't pick up any juice with this, because I don't want a whole lot of juice to go into my flour. When Hamp decided he wanted fried ribs, I had already gotten the ribs into the marinade. He didn't tell me he wanted fried ribs until just before I made this video. Had he told me ahead of time, I probably would not have marinated them. But as it turned out, that was the best thing I could ever have done, was to marinate them. They were delicious. They were delicious grilled too. But he liked them much better fried. Hamp likes everything fried. He's an old country boy. The whole time I was doing this, I was saying, Lord, please let this taste good. Because I had not done this before. Not with the marinade. it didn't take long for them to brown. I'm surprised. This is I think it was on 350. That looks so good. Collard greens, potato salad, and chicken fried ribs. Yum, yum. Thank you for joining two runaway old folks in our motorhome. We hope you come by one day. Maybe I'll cook you some chicken fried ribs. Take care. Enjoy the journey. Bye-bye.